I think he might find Tyson less accommodating after what he considers a pretty rotten fight with Dubois. We might see him ask for 75-25.
Pro boxing fans here in London for the Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou press conference. With me, none other than well-respected, well-esteemed journalist, Jeff Powell. Jeff, firstly, how are you? How's life?
Yeah, it was good, thank you.
Let's talk about why we're here. Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. A lot of question marks on this. A lot of negativity towards Tyson after the reaction after the fight got announced, saying, listen, what's going on here? From boxing fans especially, saying, this isn't our fight that we want to see. We want to see the Usyk fight. What do you make of this fight?
Tyson's got to fight somebody, and I think the Usyk fight is perhaps even more in doubt at the moment than it has been even before. It's something he likes. He's a showman. He likes to put on a spectacle. My hope is that it will be more serious than Mayweather against McGregor. By instinct, I'm not sure that Tyson will want to carry a fighter a few rounds to make it look good. His natural instinct, he's a fighter, as he always says. He's a fighting man. The Gypsies are fighting men. They don't mess about, and I agree with that. And I think he'll go for it, and I hope he does. It would make it much more interesting if Ngannou, who's supposed to be the biggest puncher in combat sports in the world at the moment, if he lands that, makes a fist of it, makes a real fist of it, and puts him down. Tyson's probably the only guy who would then get up, as he always keeps proving, against Wilder and so on. I hope there's enough of that element about the fight that it doesn't become a complete farce. I think it should be a better commodity. I hope it is, and given the fact that there's a kind of a surge of interest in the UFC, I don't actually believe it's more than a niche sport personally, but there are a lot of online followers of the UFC who say that it's better than boxing. Well, it would be nice for boxing if Tyson takes care of him in a proper manner, in a proper fight, and that would make it okay for Tyson. If it does turn out to be a dance rather than a battle, that would be unfortunate. But I think looking at both of them, and especially Mr. Fury, I think it'll be a fight.
How important is it that after this fight, them negotiations for the Usyk fight starts and we get to see that fight at some point next year? Because whilst this is going on, we haven't generally got to see the big fights in the heavyweight division this year. So it's been a long time since there's been talk about an Anthony Joshua, Fury fight, Usyk Fury. It seems that these fights are not getting made. How important is it that we get to see the Usyk Fury fight?
Me, I want to see it. You want to see it. So does everybody else. But I think it's in more doubt now than it has been for some time. It wasn't very impressive, Usyk, in the win over Dubois. He finished it well, but the low blow controversy didn't reflect well on either of the fighters, to be honest. Did Dubois quit at the end? Was Usyk playing up? Well, Usyk was entitled to take his time because the referee said so. But I think it didn't enhance his reputation, to be honest, to see him playing up on the floor in that condition. I can see that Tyson will perceive that Usyk's commercial value has dropped. He took a low money fight with Dubois, not the first time he's done that. Tyson thinks he doesn't really want it, and I think now, with all the publicity that Fury will garner from this event, whether it's just a spectacle or whether it's a great fight, it's going to be widely seen as, not least in America where there's a UFC following. I think he will be even more stern in his negotiations. There's suggestions that Usyk would have taken 30% and let Tyson have 70% of a big purse in Saudi Arabia. I think he might find Tyson less accommodating after what he considers a pretty rotten fight with Dubois. We might see him ask for 75-25, and then whatever the price is, I think Fury wants to test that he really wants to fight and that he really wants to fight for Ukraine.
Interesting. I do want to talk about Anthony Joshua, who's fought just a couple of weeks ago. Everything around that fight was this whole Deontay Wilder talk about Wilder. Even afterwards, we all asked him about what's the next fight for you? And Eddie Hearn and everyone said, listen, we're trying to make that Deontay Wilder fight. It seems like now the date keeps getting pushed on. We're talking about December, then January, now it looks like it could be February or March. What do you know about the whole Anthony Joshua situation that you can give them insight to?
Well, there appears to be financial difficulties around this fight. It seems to be that skills in Saudi Arabia might not be as flush as they were when the original proposition was made for this fight. Now, Joshua took a couple of interim fights to keep him going towards this fight, fighting the most dangerous puncher in boxing, certainly, and Wilder looked to me like a cash-out fight, because you would have doubts about Joshua surviving the kind of punches that Fury took from him and getting up in the same way. So if the idea is to sort of have your last big fight and make money and take your chances and hope you don't get caught and win by boxing him, which, you know, I'm sure AJ would try to do with good heart, but if the money's not there, what on earth was the point of waiting for a cash-out fight? And I don't know who he now fights, other than if he waits for Fury to go through the motions and he has a delay fight with him in the middle of next year.
When I spoke to Shane Fury, he said that if that fight between Anthony Joshua and Wilder is to happen, it's going to have to happen with these Saudis. It's not going to be with skills. It seems like these are the ones who are going to be maybe carrying that money. Do you know anything about why this has occurred? Why there was this fight set to happen, or negotiations were happening, and now the money's not there from what the reports are saying?
I can't perceive what's going on in the mirage in the desert, but it doesn't look good to me.
Okay. I do want to quickly just move over and talk about other boxing in general. First of all, Jeff, you're an old school writer. What do you make of this whole YouTube scene? You see KSI, Tommy Fury, a professional fighter, going over to that side of things and saying, listen, I'm going to make a bit of money there, maybe enhance my profile, and then come back to boxing. But what do you make of that implementation into boxing?
I never resent anybody making money.
Fair enough. Finally, before I let you go, Daniel Dubois obviously fought a couple of weeks ago against Oleksandr Usyk. What did you make of the performance from Daniel? You talked about Usyk just then, and what you said was maybe a decline in performance. But with Daniel Dubois, do you feel like, from what Tony Bellew's saying, is that he quit on the night? From what you saw, and I don't want you to say that he quit or anything like that, but did you feel like when the tough got tough for Daniel that maybe he did once out?
I was surprised he didn't get up, because he was following the count. He looked alert, and I was surprised he didn't get up. The same as Tyson has just said, he was surprised that Usyk rolled around on the canvas from a low punch. Both of those things surprised me.